Well, the world of addiction is huge. David Essel here. It is massive. There are so many different addictions in this world, and there's so much confusion over what an addiction recovery program should look like. And I want to sort of just give some thoughts today. We've been in this industry for over 30 years, helping millions of people to get sober, everything from smoking to sex addiction, gambling, spending money that we don't have, alcohol, food, nicotine, drugs, the addiction to be right. I mean, there are so many addictions in this world, and there's so much confusion because there aren't many programs that are very effective. That's just the reality. And so what do we do? Well, very first thing is, and if you want to take notes, because I think this is crucial stuff. We have to understand that every addiction in the world and our work of 30 plus years is caused by our inability to deal with the emotions of life. And what does that mean? Well, we're talking about inability to deal with low self-confidence, low self-esteem, peer pressure, the inability to deal with anger, rage, shame, guilt. I mean, there are all these emotions that people don't want to feel and to walk into. So what we do is we try to circumvent those situations that we don't know how to deal with or don't want to deal with. We circumvent them by trying to find a way to go into an altered reality. All addictions, the only purpose is to take us out of our current reality. That's the only purpose of addiction. So if you're bored and you eat, well, there's your addiction to food trying to cover up the boredom. And so we say, well, wait a minute. Why don't we learn coping skills for boredom? Or what about resentments? So you're pissed off at someone that's hurt you, and so you go and drink, or you go get stoned, or you go do something because you don't want to deal with that pain, right? The codependence in this world. We don't want to rock the boat. We crave that everyone just be okay and everyone just get along, and that's a very difficult space to be. And when people don't get along and when they're not okay, a lot of times the codependent will find ways to numb their own frustration through television, radio, social media, the addiction to social media. Oh my God, it's huge, right? It goes on and on and on. So we have all of these emotions that we don't know how to deal with that encourage us to go and try to find an alternate reality. Does that make sense? It's not genetic based. You're not born craving alcohol unless you have fetal alcohol syndrome, totally different gig than what we're talking about here. You're not born to be a gambler. You're not born to be a heroin addict unless you have a mom who's a heroin addict when you were born. But those are the extremes. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that no one is born an addict. No one is born addicted. No one is born anything unless your mom currently, when you were in her womb, was addicted to something. And then, of course, it's going to affect the fetus. But we're not talking about that here. We're talking about the fact that if your mom wasn't an addict and wasn't an alcoholic and you had a normal delivery, no one comes out of your mother's womb craving a cigarette, craving sugar. Food addiction is off the charts in regards to probably the #1 substance addiction in the world. So we have to understand the foundation of where addiction comes from in order to heal it, right? There's no medical intervention that's going to work for your recovery. There's no drugs that are going to work for everyone. There's a few drugs out there that I've had many clients try, and none of them have worked long term. So we're coming face to face with ourselves. Addiction recovery means that we've got to up our game, get uncomfortable, hire accountability partners to do what we don't want to do. It's not that complicated. It's not easy. The formula for recovery is unbelievably simple. It's not easy. You know, I've been in recovery for a long time for alcohol addiction and cocaine addiction. I have no cravings. I haven't had cravings in years. I haven't used in years. I will never have cravings again as long as I stay with my program of processing emotions, being open and honest. When people want to disagree with me, that's okay. I don't shut them down and go drink my troubles away or my frustration away or my anger away. You know, for a lot of us, we live with really low self-confidence and self-esteem. And so via peer pressure, we'll buy things we can't afford. We'll drink when we know we shouldn't. We'll eat crap when we know we shouldn't because we want to be part of our clique. You know, people that don't want to be alone. Oh my God, there was a woman from Canada that contacted me not too long ago because she's got a problem with alcohol. But she said to me, I'm not going to quit having drinks with dinner. Well, we're not going to work together. I mean, you can't, you know, it's like that kind of stuff is insane. I want you to help me get sober, but I'm going to keep drinking at dinner. I said, well, okay, you're going to have to find another counselor because that's not the way that I work, right? But recovery is not that difficult. You do need a program. At the end of this, you can see right on this video, there's a link that we have that you can go and watch information on one of our programs, Holistic Addiction Recovery. We do it very, very differently. We don't do it like anyone else, and for a very good reason. I have yet to see a recovery program in America with a recovery rate, a success rate higher than 10%. When I went into a treatment center, the medical director stood up, raised her hand, and the same statistics are today as to when I got sober years ago. And she said that, you know what, only 10% of you, of 100 plus people in this treatment center, only 10% will be sober after a year. And she was right. I got texts and emails from all these people that I was in the center with when they went out. Most of them went out within 60 days. Why is that? Well, for one thing, the treatment center did not teach people how to deal with the emotions that create the desire to escape reality. So no one said to me, I'm going to give you coping mechanisms for your boredom, your low self-confidence, your low self-esteem, your guilt, your shame, your anger, your rage, your resentments, your addiction to social media, your addiction to video games. No one gave us any coping mechanisms, other than go to meetings. Well, come on, I need a hell of a lot more than meetings. As a matter of fact, the 12-step programs have about a 10% success rate. So there's something majorly missing there. How many times, if you're looking for recovery, find someone that really knows brain chemistry supplementation. In our program, we found that with the right amino acid therapy, we can help the brain to recover from years and years of addiction. There's no addiction that anyone could have lengthwise that can't be cured. Any addiction in the world can be cured. And I'm saying cured, meaning that you don't go back to it. However, what's the caveat? The caveat is that you have to have a daily program. When we take people through, I'm working with a young guy in the Midwest right now, and he's got a list of 10 to 12 things he has to do every day in order to stay clean. Now, that might seem like a lot, but basically all it is a lifestyle change. We learn how to meditate. We learn how to pray. We learn how to journal. We learn how to take brain chemistry supplementation. In our program, we teach you how to keep your blood sugar levels normalized, because when they drop, we get irritable, angry, fatigued, which has a tendency to lead a lot of people back to relapse, right? So we do all of this emotional journaling. We don't do amends the way that other people do. We don't think amends should be involved with anyone other than the person who's the addict and maybe their partner. At the very most, amends are only important for you. Yes, we take people through amends, but we do it really differently. We want you to know that there is not one addiction in this world that you cannot beat forever. I don't care what it is, and I don't care what you've read, and I don't care what the study, it's so funny because when I do these videos, people say, well, there's a brand new study out of some university saying that there's a genetic link to this. And I just go, you know what, gang, I don't know. I'll take my experience as a counselor in addiction recovery and the success that we've seen over any study in the world. And I'm not being cocky, I'm just being honest. You can find studies that say anything. You can find studies that say red wine is great for your heart. Well, that's great unless you're an alcoholic, but that's what I did as an alcoholic. I would look for studies, right, that would tell me that, oh my God, a glass of Chardonnay a day is awesome. 2 glasses of red wine a day are fantastic. Let's drink like the French. Here's something interesting. I have a lot of French clients from France, still living in France, that I work with via Skype. And they all laugh when they hear those things. They go, David, the average Frenchman will have that much wine at lunch and that much wine at dinner, and we call it a night. So there's all these misconceptions, but you can Google and you can find out that alcohol is a dependent genetic disease, which it is not. But if you have that mindset, you'll go, well, the reason I relapse is because it's in my genes and the genetics caused my addiction. No, they didn't. Your genetics has nothing to do with causing any addiction to alcohol, food, nicotine, etc. Now, if you have the gene for alcoholism and you drink on a regular basis, you will release that gene and then it'll be hard to stop. That part of it I agree with. I come from a long family of alcoholics. I was a raging alcoholic. I didn't ever want to stop once I started, and I drank almost every day. Because I haven't drank in years and I have no medical intervention, there's been no pills, no surgery, no treatment from doctors of any type whatsoever, I can tell you that what I'm saying is true. The greatest news in the world is that no matter what you're struggling with, your partner, your children, your friends, anyone can heal. but you've got to get to understand the causation of all addiction. You've got to be able to find new coping skills, which we teach in our course, instead of reaching for that donut or that cigarette or that joint or the alcohol or the hours of addiction to television or gambling or whatever. We go, wait a minute. I have a new coping skill. I have a new coping mechanism. I'm going to use this for the betterment of myself and show others that, yes, we can all get clean. If you need help, the link is right here. Go to our website. More than happy to help you. You can check out the addiction recovery program. But really, this video is made for one thing and one thing only. That is hope. I want you to have hope, to understand that whatever you're reading and you're hearing and you're talking about of people saying, well, you know, it's your genes, you can't do anything about it. Throw that crap out the window. Visit our website. Read the truth about recovery. Listen to this video. Share this video with your friends all over social media. People need to know the truth, that you can heal from anything. The cravings can be gone for life if you're willing to do a program that's effective. Join me at talkdavid.com or davidessel.com. Be more than happy to help you. Have a great day.